Santa Monica, but it's not like we're...
When you said, like, moved to Texas, I was like, what? That's a different vibe.
Right?
Like,
not happening, though.
Yeah. You went and you're like,
Yeah, and I just couldn't be away from the family. And I was like, we're trying to have kids soon. And, like, why would I move away from my family?
Yeah. It seems like,
Haley.
when you're young, it's like a good,
We are a family.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine, like, you would go if you went, but...
I really like it here.
Yeah. So we're these things, right? Yeah.
Huh?
Put these things on?
Yes, there's a left and a right.
Okay.
And then in the mic, just be sure to talk into the front of it.
Yeah. Do you see?
Let me see.
Am I done?
Right here? No.
On the other side? Oh, there they are.
Right.
Okay. It was like me trying to find your address. That's why I'm like, I'm not that person. I'm really
Oh no, you're fine.
capable human.
I don't. We need to get rid of the old. It's like the old address is still up on.
Yelp.
I'm like, I don't think they'll even let me. Are you comfortable?
Can you
Hear yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a volume here that just controls what you're hearing of yourself.
And then you want to talk into
I don't.
here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear myself.
And
Okay,
then-
so I could just turn my voice down a little bit, but then I'll probably be yelling sometimes.
You won't yell. I don't think you will. You're
I mean,
okay.
I'm loud.
We all are.
So like, say your name.
Andrea.
Yeah, you're
My
good.
name's Andrea. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Any questions before I hit record? I mean, we're just gonna be talking like we've been talking. Like honestly,
Don't be nervous.
but there is a thing where it's like, as soon as everything's on, it's just like you start sweating. And
Yeah,
you get
I'm
a bit
sorry.
you
nervous,
black
but like,
out.
yeah, you black out.
Yeah.
You won't remember anything that we talked
I mean,
about.
I've listened to you guys from like the very beginning. I was like, oh my god, everyone on there is like so just like confident and like knows.
It's
you
all
know.
Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's me.
We'll just roll with it. Just ask me questions.
I'll just guide you.
Yeah.
It'd be really fun.
My husband's like a prepper, like, because he's like so used to like interviewing and stuff like that. He's like, okay, do you like have certain things rehearsed? I was like, no,
No,
don't rehearse
that
it.
would make me like go crazy.
Yeah, no, you're gonna be great.
You're gonna be great. And what the heck? Okay, glad I did that. We're almost there.
Hey, look, I have you on my arm.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh! Are you both?
Cancer.
Wait,
No, it's my
cancers?
husband's.
Husband?
Yeah.
What's his birthday?
Cheesy like that. June 23rd.
June 23rd.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm July 10th.
When's your birthday?
I'm a Taurus.
You're Taurus. Stubborn? Me too. I'm Aquarius.
Okay, see, I don't know much about signs other than my own.
Yeah, same. It'd be
I
just
think
like,
I know
right,
everything
just,
about myself just so self.
no, I mean, it's okay.
That's everyone.
I feel like recently I've dived deep into like the horoscope and I'm just starting to like learn about all the other like signs and then how you have like your rising and your moon.
Sunset,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm figuring all that. Like I
All
think
you really need to know in life is like when Mercury's in retrograde.
exactly for reals. And when there's a full moon because that's when people go crazy.
Yep.
Do you know?
Your crystals.
Yes, gotta charge the crystals, make my moon water.
Do all the things.
Do all the things. Okay, so we're sitting here with our friend Andrea from DermaPlus. I'm so excited that you're here. You drove all the way from the Bay Area.
Yeah, we honestly are always looking for an excuse to drive up to LA or anywhere hot. So I
Yeah.
like, jumped at the chance.
I love
Yay.
it. So we're so happy to have you here.
Yay, so happy to be here. So good to meet you guys in person. I said when I walked in, I was like, I feel like I know you both.
Right,
And I've
it's
had
so
like a virtual
fun.
tour of the place a million times. And then I get here, I'm like, oh, it's even cuter in person. You're like more beautiful in person.
Aw.
Oh,
You're so sweet.
Yeah. And that skin.
Jinx.
You owe me a Perrier.
The skin.
Thank you.
First thing I noticed.
It's
when I walked
real.
in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
You
real,
don't even need the
guys.
filter. Yeah. Go filter free because the skin is really gorgeous.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's like I'm lucky that I never really struggled too much with my skin. Even like as a teenager, I mean, I had like one little spell at the dermatologist back in the day. I think we all did when we were like 16.
I feel like it's either in the industry, like estheticians get into the industry because they struggle with their own skin issues,
Yes.
or they just want to help other people and they've not been plagued with any skin issues.
for
so,
sure. I mean,
yeah.
for me, it was because of Haley. Because Haley was the complete opposite of me.
Yeah.
We're still.
Yeah, I remember you guys saying that. I look at
Struggle
you now,
always.
I'm like, thank God you have Casey for a sister because
Thank
she's done
God.
some good things on you.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
God is right. I mean, I've always struggled. I still do.
Yeah.
Casey works her butt off to make my face look the way it does.
Not as much as I used to, but still, it's like I gave you facial yesterday. Your
Yeah.
skin looks good
Yeah,
today.
thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
have
want
to
to look
record
pretty.
someone, so
Yeah.
you're like,
Had-
you get to be the girl every
Right, and I need to look pretty for you, so
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay, I like to kind of start from the beginning. I love your story, and we actually have kind of similar stories.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that before.
I feel like you're like my LA clone a little bit.
Yeah.
Or I'm your SF clone.
It's so crazy how I feel like the more I've talked to estheticians, the more we all have like such similar stories.
Yeah.
Like you and I, we've been in the industry the same amount of time. We're the same age. We both own our own businesses. But like, take us all the way back. Like, this is Skin in the City. What city are you from?
San Francisco.
Okay, you're Bay Area.
Bay Area
life.
native my whole life. Lived by the beach. I grew up in a little beach town outside of San Francisco, and I've been in San Francisco for about 10 years now, and been in the industry for 15. So yeah, really like
it's a long
kind
time.
of side by side with your whole story. I feel like it's almost like repetitive because it's very similar to yours. I actually worked as a makeup artist as like a wee little baby, even like in high school, and then freshly out of high school. And the longer I worked in that industry, the more I kind of was like, oh my gosh, okay, like you can be really good at makeup, you can be, you know, have all the skills in the world, but really I took a big interest on with skin. And so I didn't even know what an esthetician was. Like, it wasn't like I had, you know, was in high school, I'm like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? I didn't get asked that a lot.
Yeah.
I just kind of like fell into that path of kind of finding what I loved. And it was my stepmom who's like, you should go to esthetician school, because she was a cosmetologist in her younger years. And I was like, what's an esthetician? Which now we get asked that all the time. People think we're bankers or like in finance or something. Esthetician. So I learned very quickly what it was, went to a small community college, which, you know, whether it's like a big private beauty school or a small community college, I feel like you can get an incredible education. In fact, like, whenever I interview now, I actually look for like the smaller people who went to the smaller like community schools and like that something more intimate.
I agree.
Didn't have to pay the big bucks. Kind of got like, you always use the word scrappy with it.
Yes.
So I went to esthetician school and worked for a spa like right out of school. Was, you know, it was like in the early days of aesthetics, like before social media and the whole bit. Like, I would go around in cars and like put little flyers out and like try to meet people at Starbucks and solicit my services. But I was lucky. What I felt very fortunate to get a job at like a medical spa. Got great experience, was a guinea pig for all laser services. It was like a win-win, and you learn a lot. And my second job is now the one I own, which is crazy.
Wow. So cool.
Yeah, so it's like, after working like 3 years at one spa, moved on, you know, it's like, you know, there wasn't as much of the desire back then to like move on, bigger place, bigger spa.
Better.
Like, I've always been a creature of habit. I was very comfortable. I was very happy. I had a great clientele. Like, there's a lot of glamorization of like going up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, this is my home. But I had to have a desire to grow and just kind of like change location. So it was still another spa in San Francisco, Dermaplus.
Okay.
Which has actually been in our location for 21 years. Like,
wow.
She's an adult. Like, she's
grown up. She can drink. She can have that bottle of rosé.
She's seen some things. And I've owned it for 7, so I worked under the previous owner for 6 years. She was like my mentor, kind of like, without me even realizing, groomed me to kind of, and like just saw something in me, and her time had come to move on. She was like, just done.
Was she retiring?
She was moving out of state, and she was, and that, it was like her baby. She's like, if it wasn't for you, I would just close the doors.
Wow.
Like, I wouldn't sell it. You know, when you grow something from scratch, like, I could never imagine selling the business to just like anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it'd have to be someone who like was so invested in it and loved it and like breathed it and had so much passion for it. So I had like come back from my honeymoon. She was like, so, yeah, I have some news for you. You're buying the business. And I think I just literally blacked out. Like, I was like, my ears started ringing, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, okay. And even then, like, I consider myself a baby. I was like 26.
Yeah.
So I, you know, got my life savings and like did it.
Oh my God.
And the rest is history. So now I owned it for 7 years, and it's grown a lot since then in so many different magical, cool, crazy ways. It was awesome because it's different from your story. Like, you built yours from scratch.
Right.
Like, I kind of inherited this like booming, flourishing, really incredible energy of a business.
Yeah.
And just had the opportunity to kind of grow it in different ways, where she's like, I didn't have the energy for. Was it mine?
No, it's me. Haley's gonna yell at me.
Yeah.
It's okay. She's popular.
I'm popular. Turning the volume down. Okay.
So yeah, that's the story.
That's such I love that story. And can you kind of walk us through like how it was to buy the business? Because that is something that we have different, like, did that feel overwhelming at 26? Did you ever want to own a business? Was that ever like a long-term goal? Or were you kind of like, holy shit, I'm doing this and I'll figure it out?
Yeah. I think every single esthetician that goes to esthetician school or like in the beauty industry is like, I'm going to own my own business. And then you work there for a while and you're like, oh, no. You're like, or you look at your boss and you're like, oh, she got some bags under her eyes. Like, no, I'm good. And I was just like a happy camper. Like, I came to work, I left, I had like a great little bustling life outside of work. Like, you leave work, you shut it off, you never have to think about it again. And sometimes I even look at my girls now and like, I envy that. Like, I so much love like being in the mode all the time. But you guys know, like, you leave and you don't turn off. Like, there's no off button. So yeah, after working just as an employee for a while, I was happy. I was totally content. Always, of course, like had the desire and, you know, to grow and be better and better myself. But yeah, when she presented me with the opportunity, I was like, okay. And I had thoughts to say no for a while.
You did.
But I was like, no, I have to. Like this, I loved it there so much. It was my home, and I mean, you can't pass an opportunity like that up.
Right.
It's like literally once in a lifetime opportunity to be offered something. So yeah, I mean, the process of purchasing a business is interesting. It's like such a learning experience. You know, you go through a broker and they, you know, estimate the value of the business, and she was such a friend and a mentor, you know, we really worked on like a nice transaction.
Yes.
But yeah, you know, did easy, like there was no loan, there was no, it was just like
literally took all your money that you had and put it down and said
just like did private loan through her, and so yeah, didn't have to like go through anyone.
That really is like a once in a lifetime opportunity, because that you just don't hear about that often.
You really don't. And I think that's the value of like really building connections within this industry, because if you're just thinking of yourself and how you're gonna benefit and value and work at a place for a short time and then leave and take all the clients or whatever, you know, the good came from the fact that I was like committed to that establishment, and it's like that's where the opportunities arose. So you never know where something's just going to hit you, and you're going to have an incredible like chance of a lifetime to do something great. So yeah.
Was there something that helped you decide that you did want to buy the business? Because you hadn't thought about it before. So it's like, how did you go from vacationing on your honeymoon to, okay, I'm buying this business?
Yeah.
You know?
I think I'm just like a very gut and intuitive, like I just knew. I was like, I knew I had to. It's kind of like your two little shoulders. Like somebody's always going to like, one shoulder's going to talk you out of something, like, oh, but what this can happen, and then like you're going to lose your independence and you're not going to have like social time. It's like, what? Why? How's that going to talk me out of something where you can have an opportunity to have your own business and make it whatever you want
and change your life in a whole other way.
Yeah, it's easy to talk I always say to everyone, like, you can very easily talk yourself into or out of anything, whether it's positive or negative. And so it's like, you know, the little thing on my shoulder that was trying to talk me out of it, I'm like, well, that's all fear-based. Like anything that was trying to talk me out of it was out of fear. And sometimes you just have to take the leap. And I just knew, I was like, okay, I'm just going to trust the universe. And there's a reason that this has been presented to me. And so do it. And I'm also like kind of an impulsive person. Like any decision I make, I'm like, okay, done. So yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, it's like buying a house or a car. I'm like, okay, my mind is set on it. Okay, done. I can't go back now. Like you've already made the decision in your head. There's no going back.
Right, and after you've jumped, you can't change your mind when you're falling halfway down. You're oh shit. Well, I'll land somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. I love that.
Like you're saying, like stubborn Taurus. I was like, if your mind's made up, like nothing's gonna change it, even myself.
Right, and you'll figure it out, and here you are 7 years later, and I'm sure you're gonna say, like, you love every minute of it, right? Do you love it?
I love and cherish, like, it's like my soul, and there's definitely times, like, in 7 years, and it's like a roller coaster. There's days where you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm a broken person, and then other days you're like, holy crap, I'm on cloud 9, like, all these crazy things are happening. So, it's funny, it's like, you do get to the point and you've had so many like great successes and you've had so many cool milestones, you start to almost like not celebrate the little wins as much, and you're like, oh, you've got to take all those times to like really appreciate and value like how far you've come and what you've made it.
I think that's so important because I'm so guilty of that, and I think a lot of us estheticians
I see you
are.
pumping something out. Your magazine comes out. Like, did you go like grab cocktails or something? Did you like
No.
celebrate it all?
I mean, we did. We actually with the for example, like for the launch of the magazine.
Yeah.
Haley and I went to Mom and Dad's for dinner, and they like surprised us with like a cake and like gifts and like a celebration. But I am so guilty.
Like other people celebrate you, but like, are you celebrating you and your wins?
We need to more because, for example, it's like the spring issue of the magazine is coming out literally in like a week. But I'm already on to the summer, which is it's good for the business.
By the time these things have manifested that you've been working and putting so much energy into, other people just see that it's dropped, but they don't see that you're like, okay, I already processed all of this, I'm on to the next thing. Like, you guys are late.
You're a month behind.
You're like...
I'm already sick of looking at this magazine. Can we do something else?
And by the time something launches, you're so, like, even for us, like, when a product launches, or like, we, create something new, we've already exhausted talking about it so much that by the time it launches, I'm like, okay, it's launched, but you don't realize it's new to everyone else. I'm like,
you're like,
maybe I should hype this up a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, you're not over it, but
you're like...
not as excited.
Yeah. I've heard the word launch. I've heard the word product 10,000 times in my head, but no one else has.
Right, and it's like you've scrolled through the pictures and you messed with the product and you played with it. So speaking of product launch, I wanted to talk to you about your... First off, tell me how you say the name because I will botch it because I'm not good with the name. It's
La Glacé. I don't know. I just like, sometimes I'm just like, I just want to be French.
I'm into it.
So I was like, let's make our skin tone French. Yeah, La Glacé, which means ice.
Yeah.
Cool, cold.
Beautiful name.
La Glacé skin roller. So, cold rollers. Like,
yes, I do.
Like nobody's biz.
Yeah.
So, just like one of the many ways that the business has morphed and evolved over the years is after so long of like working in the treatment room and working with different like little tools and gadgets, there's so many people who are like, oh, well, what dermaplaner do you recommend? Or what, ice globes do you recommend? And I wouldn't always have like the best recommendation. I'd be like, oh, the twinkle blade. I'm like, I don't really like